All right, so I've got it marked off. I accidentally, you probably saw in the previous video, I had actually marked this on the blue side, and then I realized it's actually the purple side that the neck is going to go on. So I had to lay this out and feel for the tape on the other side, and I stuck a piece of tape in the same place. So it's on the purple side. Now what I want to do is I want to make sure that I've got it in the right place from left to right. So I'm going to measure, trying to get this. So we've got 38 inches straight across. So if we plan on doing it, so 40 inches would be, the middle would be 20. So 38 inches, the middle would just be 19. So there's 19. What I can do is just take a marker and I'll mark right on the tape. So at least I've got my center there. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a silver Sharpie, because it easily comes off the latex, and I want to take my neck opening right here and I'm going to basically kind of center this around. Actually, what I'll do, kind of draw some lines there. You know, if I were to go completely flat with it, then that's kind of the outer extent. So this just kind of gives me some little reference lines. I could even kind of peel this back a little bit. Then, I think I'm going to take a straight edge. I think I'm going to kind of make sure I'm square. I'm on top of a cutting board, so I can kind of square myself with it. As a reference. So my tape's not actually square. I can even kind of double check myself here. Five and a quarter. Yeah, 5 1/4, so we're good there. Then what I'm doing is I'm kind of putting a center of where my my ends, kind of where the, if you were to look at the end where it curls and then kind of put a dot in the middle of where that radius would be of that circle on the end, then what we can do is we can kind of draw that that. So that actually looks pretty good. I'm going to take a circle tool. And then I'm going to take and use my circle tool to kind of put a radius on this. I'm going to take the strap and kind of double check and make sure this looks about right. And it's better if this opening is just a little bit bigger so that this kind of has to stretch just a little bit to glue to it, because it'll make it a little bit easier to have to stretch it just a little bit, as opposed to this being longer. Then you have to deal with excess material, which is a problem. So just to give some measurements, let's check this real quick. Get my tape off of here now that I don't really need it anymore. All right, so for this 14-inch piece, what I've got here is, it's about 1.5 inches, like this, and then from side to side it's about 6 1/4 inches from here to here. Of course, I have this little, this circle tool set to a circle that's 1.5 inches. So anyway, now the next step is to go ahead and cut this out. But before we do that, we want to put a cutting mat up inside, because we don't want to cut through both layers. So and then before we go much further, we need to go ahead and get this silver Sharpie off of here, because you don't want to leave that on. So it's using some alcohol. You want to turn this so that the shiny is on the outside. And then we can either glue it overlapping, which I think I'm going to do that. If you put it under, it can tend to look a little bit weird. So I might just go ahead and do that on the outside. What I'm doing now is I'm cleaning with some heptane where I'm going to be gluing. I'm going to be gluing the matte side. Of the blue to the shiny side of the purple. Actually, what I should have done is put this tape over here to keep this from curling. I'll continue it around once I get to that point. But I'm going to actually put my seam up here because the person's head's going to be up here, so it'll look nicer if the seam's not straight down the front, I think. So what I'll do is kind of get that centered. Actually draw some little end marks. Now, this inside out, so the shiny side's out, that's going to go there. I'm going to put some tape on this temporarily. I'll probably peel this back off before I stick it down. I'm going to have it there for a minute while it's the glue is setting up, just so it doesn't curl. I'm going to plan to have probably about a 3/8 of an inch overlap. It's not going to be 1/2 inch like we used before. If you want, you could put some tape down or draw a line. I'm just going to kind of eyeball this for 3/8 of an inch. It's okay if you put a little bit glue further out. We can clean it off with heptane. The main thing is making sure that the places that you want glue to have glue. And if it goes a little bit past that, it will clean off okay. All right, so that, put my brush that doesn't touch anything. Don't freak out if it doesn't go down right. We can pull parts of it back up if we need to and kind of re-glue. If it goes down crooked, you can kind of pull it back up. Or if you get a little wrinkle, you can always use a small screwdriver. I got a little tiny wrinkle here. I can get that under there and release that. And then I'm just going to keep on working my way around.